There is a claim making the rounds right now. Silver is going to $200. It is inevitable. It is just math. It is just inflation. It is just manipulation finally breaking. And on the surface, it sounds airtight because it combines everything people want to hear into one big, emotionally satisfying number. But when you slow it down piece by piece, you realize some of it is real, some of it is fantasy, and some of it is people using a seductive target to avoid doing harder thinking about conditions, probabilities, and mechanism. That is exactly why I am making this video, because I am going to say something that might annoy almost everybody. Silver will never hit $200 unless one very specific kind of condition actually happens. I am recording this right now from Chicago, and I want you to comment what day and date you are watching from, because price target talk always gets louder as emotion rises, and I want the timeline to be crystal clear. And real quick, if you value this kind of straight, no hype precious metals analysis, do me a favor, subscribe, and comment FinTalk OG so the algorithm knows you want more of this. Now here is the viral narrative. Silver is undervalued. Governments are printing. Demand is rising. Supply is constrained. Therefore, $200 is basically destiny. That is the pitch. And if you already like silver, it feels good. But that is not the whole story. Not even half of it. Because the first place these stories usually get weak is when people jump straight from bullish to extreme target without mapping the mechanism in between. Bullish does not automatically mean 200. Tight supply does not automatically mean 200. Monetary stress does not automatically mean 200. A correlation is not a contract. So I am going to break down three things. First, what would actually have to happen for silver to reach something like $200 in a durable way. Second, why ordinary bullish conditions are not enough on their own. And third, how to think about silver price targets without turning your portfolio into a fantasy project. You are going to walk away calmer, sharper, and much harder to manipulate with big round number hype. So let us start with the uncomfortable center of the argument. Silver can be deeply bullish without being $200 bullish. Here is the clean way to think about it. A strong bull market in silver can happen because of monetary demand, industrial demand, or a combination of both. But to get to something like 200 in a way that holds, you usually need a system-level event, not just a good commodity cycle. You need the kind of environment where confidence in currency, confidence in sovereign debt, or confidence in settlement plumbing breaks hard enough that silver stops being priced mainly as a metal and starts being chased as emergency monetary escape velocity. That is a very different kind of world. Let me be blunt. If all you have is stronger industrial demand, tighter mine supply, and a normal inflation cycle, silver can absolutely move a lot. But that alone does not get you to a durable 200. That kind of target usually requires a trust event, not just a demand event, a trust event. Here is what nobody wants to say. Big silver targets are often smuggling in a hidden macro assumption that people never state clearly. They are implicitly assuming some level of monetary disorder. If you are not naming that assumption, you are not doing analysis. You are doing cheerleading. Stay with me on this because it matters. Silver is the awkward cousin of gold that shows up to the family event, does something wild, and then disappears for a while. It does not glide. It lunges. It takes the stairs up, then tries to jump out the window. That means it can overshoot in extreme conditions. Sure. But overshoot is not the same as durable repricing. A spike and a hold are different things. 200 intraday in a panic world and 200 as a broadly accepted new range are not remotely the same claim. Now here is the skeptical alternative. Could silver still hit 200 on less dramatic conditions than I am describing? Maybe in a short violent overshoot if leverage, scarcity, and panic all line up just right. I am going to say something that might annoy both sides. A blow-off spike is more plausible than a stable long-term $200 world under ordinary macro conditions. That is plausible here is how it can fail. Blow-off moves are unstable. If the underlying trust reset is not broad and deep enough, the market gives a lot of it back. That is why mechanism matters more than target worship. So what is the one condition? It is not just inflation. It is not just demand. It is not just supply. The real condition is a broad breakdown of trust in the current monetary and sovereign liability framework severe enough to make both gold and silver act more like escape assets than normal cyclical commodities. That is the condition. You need a monetary trust event big enough to overwhelm the usual dampeners. Without that, silver can be very bullish and still fall well short of the fantasy number people keep throwing around. Here is a question for you. Do you think silver's real long-term upside comes more from industrial scarcity or from monetary distrust? Drop that in the comments because the answer determines whether 200 sounds plausible or promotional. Now let us talk about why ordinary bullish conditions are not enough. Strong solar demand helps, grid upgrades help, EV growth helps, mining constraints help, central bank gold demand spilling attention onto silver can help. But these are additive forces inside the normal system. To get a truly extreme silver number, you need the normal system itself to become suspect. Think about house foundation replacement. If the walls need paint, that is one kind of project. If the foundation is shifting, that is a different category entirely. $200 silver is a foundation shift argument whether people admit it or not. And here is where a lot of silver bulls accidentally sabotage themselves. They use extreme targets to sell ordinary bullishness. That sounds great emotionally, but it trains people to expect outcomes that require a far more unstable world than the one they are actually describing. Same asset, different interpretation. If you are describing a normal hard asset bull market, give me a normal hard asset target. If you are describing a monetary rupture, then say that clearly and accept what kind of world you are actually implying. Now the skeptical counterpoint again. Could silver underperform even with a trust event? In the first phase, yes. Forced liquidation is real. Liquidity stress is real. The market can sell what is liquid before it reprices what is scarce. That is plausible here is how it can fail. If you think silver just levitates the second the world gets scary, you do not understand how margin calls work. Silver can get hit first and then recover violently later. That is one more reason target obsession without scenario work is dangerous. Now here is a simple action plan, no drama. Step 1, decide whether your silver thesis is cyclical, structural, or monetary disorder driven. Write it down. Step 2, match your price expectations to the thesis you actually hold. Do not make the common mistake of holding a normal bullish thesis with a collapse level target. Step 3, if you are using silver as insurance, own it in a way that reflects insurance thinking, not lottery ticket thinking. Step 4, keep it sane. Silver does not need leverage to be exciting. It will provide the excitement for free. If you want to understand whether the $200 condition is even approaching, you do not just watch silver price. You watch sovereign debt stress, currency trust, and gold's behavior as reserve ballast. Those are the 3 tells. If those are not moving in a serious way, then the biggest silver targets remain mostly promotional. Tell me in the comments, if silver ever did hit 200, do you think it would happen in a healthy bull market or in a broken system? That answer tells you whether people understand what kind of world their own target actually implies. Now let us map two plausible paths without pretending we can predict the exact candle. Path 1 is the strong but normal bull path. Supply tightens, industrial demand remains firm, monetary demand improves, and silver rises significantly but stays within the logic of a powerful commodity and hard asset cycle. In that world, silver does very well without needing a civilization-level narrative. I am not predicting it. I am saying it is within the set of things this market is capable of doing. Path 2 is the trust break path. Sovereign and currency confidence fracture badly enough that precious metals reprice as emergency monetary alternatives. In that world, extreme silver targets become far more plausible. But that is a much darker scenario than most people casually throwing around $200 seem willing to admit. Now here is the uncomfortable truth. A lot of silver investors say they want $200 silver, but if the path to get there actually involves broken trust, severe volatility, and systemic financial stress, they probably do not want the world that comes with it. That is why defensive strategy matters. Romantic targets can hide ugly conditions. Here are the 4 rules. 1. Decide your maximum allocation first. Write it down. If you are losing sleep, you are too big. 2. When something runs hard and you are up a lot, take some off. Not all. Some. If your position doubles, consider trimming half. Lock in the original bet. Let the rest run. 3. Do not use leverage on silver just because the upside story sounds exciting. 4. The best time to buy is not always when you are most excited. The best time to buy is when you can still breathe. So here is what we covered. Silver can be strongly bullish without reaching extreme fantasy targets. Durable $200 silver usually implies a serious monetary trust event, not just a good metals cycle. Big targets are only useful if the conditions behind them are stated honestly. And the biggest mistake investors make is confusing an exciting number with a probable path. Stay thoughtful. Stay sized appropriately. Do not let seductive targets do your thinking for you. Now here are my questions for you. Do you think silver's upside is mostly cyclical or mostly monetary? And if you believe in very high silver prices, what exact condition do you think gets us there? Drop your answer below and remember to include what day and date you are watching from. If you got value out of this, subscribe and comment FinTalk OG so I know you want a follow-up on realistic silver target ranges and what would invalidate them. And if this helped, share it with someone who throws around $200 silver without ever explaining the world required to support it. Stay thoughtful, and I will talk to you soon. And just so we are crystal clear, this is educational content. It is my take based on publicly discussed information and my own reasoning, and it is not personal financial advice. I am not your advisor. I do not know your goals or your risk tolerance, and I could be wrong. Do your own homework. Consider your situation. And if you need personal advice, get it from a qualified professional who knows your situation.